means is you can transmute your sexual energy into creative energy, which means with enough focus, intention, and will, you can turn your hormones into creation, into an art, right? Music, into dance, into speech, into whatever you're good at. So it turns out that what they found out is this. They found out that if you are conscious enough, you could you can direct your Jing energy to Shin energy, which means you could transform your hormones into more creativity. You can channel the energy. So keep tapping in, because that's what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about how you can channel your sexual energy. Now, what do I mean by that? Transmuting your sexual energy. What is that all about? Okay, let me explain this to you first of all. First of all, how you experience life is on the base of your sex. Not the sex you have per se, but your sexual energies, your hormones, your Jing field. Everything that you eat, your digestion and your sexual organs have similar functions, and they move the blood similarly. What you eat becomes your hormones. When you eat food, your body extracts the nutrients from those foods, and the nutrients become the blood. And that blood, guess what happens? It's nourishing your organs. So then the blood goes and says, okay, I'm going to nourish your organs, and your blood also becomes your hormones. Stick with me. The hormones are things like cortisol. The hormones are things like oxytocin. The hormones are things like dopamine, and the hormones are things like endorphins. So you get hormones. These hormones that's secreted by your glands is how you actually experience life. While you think you experience life by what's happening and what you're doing, it is the chemicals in your brain that causes your experience of life. Which means when you feel good about yourself, you have a feeling of well-being, and that has to do with the serotonin levels. You feel really good. When you feel really stressed, that's because you got a lot of cortisol in your body. When you feel that love, that's oxytocin. So what does that have to do with anything? Why do I have to start from that point before we can get to the point of that transmuting your energy? Because we got to understand this. What you eat becomes how you feel. But then what you consume also becomes how you feel. And what you consume can be blocking how you heal. So what do we normally consume? We consume not only food, which entails solid food and drinks, but we consume energies from people. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a time in your life? Have you ever had a time in your life where you went around somebody and their energy field just drained you? Somebody said, how can you be drained by someone else's energy? Well, sometimes everybody have an energy field. You can walk in the room and you could sense whether the people are loving or hateful. They did a test that if you frown at somebody, their muscles get weaker. I want you to try this. Get your friend, tell them, put your arm out. And I want you to smile at them like this. And try to push their hand down and see what happens. And then I want you to keep that same friend, and I want you to tell them, put your arm out. And then this time you're going to try to push their arm down. The only difference is, instead of pushing their arm down with a smile, you're going to push their arm down with a frown. Just like you get weakened by a frown or a smile, there's also a weakening that happens when somebody enters your body and they bring forth the energy field. So what I'm saying here is this. If in your life right now, you feel as if everything is out of balance in your body, then it doesn't serve you to bring out of balance energy into you. Because if you take out of balance energy and you mix it with out of balance energy, you get more out of balance. If you're full of anxiety and you get somebody else full of anxiety, you're doubling up your anxiety. Now, I'm not saying that, okay, people are not supposed to have this, people are not supposed to be that, but I'm saying this. I'm saying if you're trying to heal your own body, wouldn't it be wise to only deal with your own baggage for a little bit instead of taking on other people's baggage? If I'm saying if you're at a point where it's really chaotic, where you really haven't figured you out, where you haven't been so in tune with you yet, wouldn't it be a little bit wiser to say, hey, listen, I'm going to take a little bit more time for me so I can tap into me, so I can realign my energy and then attract a similar energy, rather than can just shut up. They're making too much noise. Can I take my energy, leave it alone for a little bit, cultivate it enough so I can attract the right energy so I can converge with? You get what I'm saying? And yeah, the rooster did shut up. Been making too much noise. So what I'm saying is this. I've been saying this. I'm not promoting, oh, yo, everybody don't have sex. Well, we need to have kids. We need to populate the earth. What I'm saying is this. If your hormones are out of balance, sex will not best serve you because it's only taking you more out of balance. And then at the same time, what you're doing now is you're adding more out of balance to other people. I'm in Miami, my friend. Okay. These suckers here. Let me go get some water because I'll be back. Because they'll get out of my ear. I have to keep the rooster busy so he could shut up. Alright. So here's what I'm saying. If you're out of balance, Miami is the place, man, enjoying the sunlight. If you're out of balance, I'm saying it's time to get yourself one, so then you can make yourself single enough. Now you can go be single it up with someone else. So two single people join and they become one. But if you don't become one, how can you combine with another single person and become one? So two single people meet and they become one. That's because each single person in their single season became one. It's not that each of them made each other whole. Is that two whole parts got together, the left and the right converged, and it created a whole harmony called your marriage or your relationship. So what I'm saying is, if you haven't discovered one within, it's not beneficial to converge with another one, because it's important to figure out the one within. But it's hard to figure out the one within in chaos. So when we go without for a little bit, we're able to go within. This gives us enough space to figure out who we really are and build our identity. So even when we do get in a relationship, we're getting as wholes coming together, making a whole. Not as parts coming together. Now somebody said, aren't you supposed to grow with somebody? Yeah. But before you grow with somebody, you got to at least know who's that person you're going to grow. Who are you growing? So somebody says, okay, let me get it straight. You're saying sex can both help you transmute creative energy, but if it's scattered, then what happens is you are also scattered. Let me explain to you. A lot of people have a lot of stress, anxiety. A lot of people that people are attracted to, though, here's where it's at. Some of the people you're attracted to have killed people. Now, I'm going a little bit deep. Okay, let me go back. Somebody might say, man, where are you going with this? To the extent of it, our sins get passed on. By that is you feel the pains of people just by being around them. I say you walk into a room, you feel somebody's energy. When they walk into your temple, yo, they bring forth all of that energy. So if you you love this thug guy, right? You love some people are like, yo, scammer life is for me. Okay, cool. You're like, man, I like the guys, whatever, and they're doing whatever they do. And this person happened to catch a body. That's what it is. But you don't know that. You have no clue. You have no clue that they caught a body. To this day, you have no clue. You had sex with somebody who killed somebody. And they're full of so much things within them, like energies that are like, some of them are like extreme shame. Some of them are like just they're being hunted. So if somebody is being hunted within, they're going to hunt you from inside when they get inside of you. Because they're not transferring it's not just an action, it's a hormonal exchange. Here's what is a hormonal exchange. Stay with me. There's something called pheromones. Pheromones are the chemicals that your body gives off based on so you know how you smell somebody's jacket? Pheromones are given off when you're ready to mate. And the mating of this also tells the person if your DNA is compatible with their DNA in a sense. So sometimes you like somebody by smelling them because they're giving off pheromones. In fact, there's a fact that says people who tend to have a little bit more weight on them give off more pheromones. So the sexual energy gets heightened as you get more weight. But the pheromones is a transferring. So which means just sweating alone contains a scent. It contains a piece of DNA, but it also then contains hormones. So just by hugging somebody skin to skin, you are transferring energy. Just talking to somebody, you're transferring energy. If you just talking to somebody transfers energy, hugging them transfers energy, going inside of them transfers a whole lot of energy. And this is where the concept of soul ties are. This is where the soul ties are, is because I am not just having sex with you, I am having sex with your hormones. And when I stop having sex with you, your hormones then are getting out of balance. So some people are dealing with the fact known as they have what is called, in their ovaries, they have gummy worms. This is where I learned it. It is, why I always forget the word. Somebody, see if you could come up with it. It's when there is a block. You're being, what is it called again? Shoot, I'm gonna come up with it. So let's say you haven't found the one. Remember yesterday I'm like, everybody's playing a game. So maybe you're playing the game, right? So don't always assume it's them. Maybe it's you. DJ Slice said roadblocks. No, I'm talking about more in the physical health 10 point is something that women normally go through. And it affects men in the fate of the prostate, and this as it relates to prostate, but it affects women as it relates to their ovaries. And that has to do with the stop and start of having sex. So first you get a lot of blood flow to your sexual areas, and then you go a period without any blood flow. And the period without blood flow and the heartbreak, what you do is, without the period of the blood flow and the heartbreak, what happens is you start having decisions, replacement decisions. Activities like eating a lot of foods, eating late at night. And those replacement to get the blood flow going, starting and stopping the sexual blood flow, and then replacing it with certain foods, then builds up gummy worms in your ovaries. And also this start and stop also causes imbalances in a man's testicles. So menopause, not necessarily menopause, it's an actual, I will bring it up. I need to bring it up because I know a lot of women probably don't even know that they're enduring it, but they're still enduring it. Right? So when it comes back to me, I'll explain that to you. But what does that mean? Having sex on and off with people that is trying to use you. Let me be straight up. Most people who run into sex with you, most likely they're only trying to have sex with you. I'm telling you, most people who make it their priority, who are not having that spiritual connection, most likely they're just trying to have sex. And let me be real, chances are you're just trying to have sex. So stop saying it's them. You want it too. But you have to get to a point where you know what's really happening, right? If you just try to get yours and forget that getting yours means that you sacrifice your energy, then you could be doing the complete opposite. So I'm not telling people to have sex or not have sex. I'm just telling people to be conscious. Become conscious. Let's think about this. Have you ever did business with somebody? You ever did business with somebody and you're like, I did business with them, but I can't really trust them. You know, you know how you can't trust somebody based on what they did to give them your money? How come we'll trust a stranger after one day of meeting them and we give them our body, our sexual energy, the most sacred thing on the planet, the thing that creates other life forces? Like, sometimes it takes you 3 or 4 months to make a decision to buy a product. Like, for instance, I have a tribe, a community. Some people, it'll take them 3 or 4 months to decide whether they're going to join the tribe. But how come it takes you 3 days to decide if you're going to let somebody join with your sexual energy? So I'm bringing this out because I want to bring it to your attention. Not because I'm trying, bro. I'm not this preacher saying thou shalt not have sex. I'm just a teacher saying sex is good. But if you have it in an environment that's not best serving, that could be affecting your health. So I'm saying this: we wouldn't let somebody walk in our house when we just met them, stranger. But we let somebody walk in our temple sometimes the same night we met them, and we have no idea what's going on within them. So sometimes we only think we get ill when we contract a sexual transmitted disease. But do you know that we always contract a sexual transmitted disease when you are working with somebody that is not necessarily aligned with your well-being? That is what is a sexually transmuted dis-ease, being out of ease when somebody is not necessarily converging their energies with you for a right reason. Most of us, we get in a give and take relationship. And by that I mean, I want the feeling I want. You're giving me that feeling. So I need you for my feeling. Unless we're able to grow to a level when we could really determine, is this person for me or for them, we shouldn't be having sex. That's why we need to grow. That's why we need to study and learn. Back then, what would happen is this. Before you go out, you'd have to consult your auntie, the elders. You'd have to consult your auntie or your mom, and they would have to teach you specifically about what's going on, about your body, about men, about everything. Now, you're not getting that. Well, some of us, we do get taught, but then it's trauma-based teaching, fear-based teaching. So then you're like, man, I didn't even get that. So now you're out here, you're learning from Cardi B. Like, we're learning from Lil Baby. We're learning from memes. The worst. You're learning from Twitter. From the same people who are toxic, all giving you the rules. Why are you taking the rules from the same toxic people so you can live a healing life? Doesn't make sense. Somebody says, well, why are we taking the rules of TV? They say on the 3rd date, you can give it up. Do you know that that's a programming? This is why America has a 50% divorce rate. Because people are not aligning their spirits, they're aligning their bodies, and they're transferring ill states of mind. Sex is really good if you have it with somebody who is aligned, who is more balanced, who know themselves a little bit more. So the first thing is you need to become that somebody. Okay, don't leave because I said this. you might be the toxic person. Embrace the fact that this was just a piece of you because you didn't know better. Now you have to decide, I'm going to clear myself up and let me attract an aligned person. Here's the thing. I've been doing the work, right? And I realized that not having sex gave me enough time to find out by myself. But then just because you don't have sex doesn't mean you haven't ejaculated. It doesn't mean you haven't secreted your hormones. So I'm going to tell you about exactly what sexual transmutation is in relation to semen retention. However, I want you to know this. When you get yourself aligned enough, build up your energies, learn how to eat healthy, how to get your body aligned, your mind aligned, learn how to build the right mindset, learn really about what is sex, combining the female and masculine energy and being highly creative with that energy of love. Somebody says, what do you mean by what about our individualistic egos? As in what you want? That is the part of waking up. The part of your spiritual journey is letting go of your individualistic ego or your carnal need temporarily to tap into your higher self so you can converge the carnal with the high and be a human, having a spiritual being, having a human experience. So what I mean by that is, if you really want to grow and heal, you're going to have to let go of your individualistic ego. When I stopped having sex, I didn't miss having sex as much as I felt bad about not having sex because everybody else was having sex. Okay, somebody says, how does this relate to gay people? Same rules apply. Every single rule apply. Because it's still the same energies being transferred. Still, whenever there's any liquid, any hormones, any contact, still energy is being contracted and transferable. Same thing applies. Just probably not the ovary spot. Just probably not that. So when we keep going, here's this. So you make a decision to stop putting forth your energy when you feel it's out of balance. If your own responsibility, you feel like I can't even take responsibility. Like right now, I'm struggling so much that it's hard to take responsibility for my own mental health. Do you think it's wise to bring somebody else in to take responsibility for theirs? It's not wise because it's hard. So if you're at a high anxious point, somebody says, well, getting somebody who's at peace may bring me more at peace. You got to meet them to some peace, at least to some extent. It does not serve the person who's healed to go with somebody who haven't even started the process. Why? Because every day they're not converging their energy to build up. I'm having to kind of like give you some more energy, or just like, and it's at a point where that's hard. It's at a point where it's really hard to say, yeah, I have to, I'm having sex with this girl, I'm having sex with this guy, and they're just really angry all the time. I'm still dealing with my own anger things. So when I go with them, it's like two traumas fighting against each other. It's it's hard to put two traumas against each other without any person understanding their trauma. So it's like two kids acting up every day, screaming at each other. None of them realize that, you're just living out a script from 1 to 7. The reason why you heal first is because even if you do go in a relationship where somebody's not fully healed, nobody's fully healed. Everybody's still going to have some trauma, still going to have anxiety, still going to have stress. But if you at least understand then at least you can communicate better with them. At least when you have sex, the sex is not... I used to have sex with girls or women because of this. I just wanted to have sex. So I'm going to be serious. I felt bad every time I felt bad about it, because I felt like, I was like, okay, we're friends and we're having sex. And this is what hurt my spirit the most. I was like, we're friends, we're having sex, and eventually we're going to get somewhere. But in my mind, I'm like, you still need to grow. Like, I don't know if where I'm going, I'm going to be able to be with you, because you still need to grow. But I want to have sex. That's my individualistic ego. I was like 19, 20. And then at some point in my life, I started waking up. And I'm like, bruh, I don't want to do this to women. Like, I love women. I want to empower them. I want to be the type of person that empowers women and not manipulate to get what I want. So at some point I was like, you know what? I'm not going to play this game. This game is outright manipulative. So I was like, I'm not going to promise one thing and take out my promise just because I want something. So I was like, okay, I need to build myself up to a point where I can build my career. I could know exactly who I am. I could learn about myself, and I'll be able to do it. But I still was on the right race of I need to have sex. I need to go to a party, find a girl, and I was in the right race. But then God had a divine intervention. He gave me some struggle. So I started sleeping in my car, and that took a toll on my confidence. So now I felt so bad about myself that I didn't even want to ask girls out. So let me tell you the truth. I didn't make a decision to be abstinent. Abstinence made the decision for me. So at some point I was like, I'm not going to have sex. I just felt so bad. I mean, I look good and I'm sexy too. Too much TMI, right? TMI, okay. But I was like, man, I don't have what I want right now. I don't have my business running. Like I had my business running, but I was like, man, I didn't have my finances together. I was always anxious and I was a little bit depressed. There was so much going on. I was a little bit sad. It was like, if I was going out and having sex with a bunch of girls, I would have been giving them a little bit of that energy. I would have been consuming their energy. They would have been taking my time. The time I would spend there, I would spend with them. After having sex, I would spend another 2. I would have to have Netflix and chills. That would take so much time. The parties I would have to go to pick up people. And think about it. You see this mindset is just so empty. I was like, I don't want to live my life like that. I want to have a girlfriend, a wife. I want to converge my energies with them. I want to create stuff. So, long story short, lack of self-confidence gave me enough time to be all one by being alone. And then I spent more time learning, growing, meditating, reviewing. What did that do for me? It allowed me to discover who I am. Out of that discovery, now I know who I am. I know what I'm valuable. I know I know the traumas. I know the triggers. I know what I need to heal from my childhood. Now I can only attract a queen because I am now gonna be I have a repellent for certain people. Certain people are not even attracted to me anymore because of my energy that I've built. So when you build your energy, you attract the very like energy. So when you seek for energy without cultivating your own, you're attracting where you're at. So I'm asking you, look at you. Do you get anxious a lot? Do you feel a lot of stress? Is there a lot of traumas that you need to heal from? Is your body out of alignment? Is your mind fogged up? Do you feel a little bit depressed from time to time? A lack of self-confidence? Like you need to find your passion? Like you're trying to figure out like, what is my purpose here? If that's you, it's probably best beneficial for you to do that. To spend some time on you. To reflect. To grow. To let them go so you can grow. Now somebody says, stop having sex. How about my body? How about like what I feel like I need to do? What's next? I'm going to now tell you how you can transmute your sexual energy into creative energy. I explained to you why you should stop having sex for a little bit and start having a convergence. I talked about how your hormones become the blood and the blood becomes the hormones. Well, not necessarily the blood. How the food then becomes hormones and how the hormones dictate how you experience life. Now, did you know that you can cultivate your sexual energy either around your ovaries or your testicles? You could use your breath and squeeze it along the spine and bring it to the head. Did you know that? I've done it. And it's possible. Now, of course, this is for this is for people with an open mind. And whether you're a kid or an adult, you need to know about your body. So what does it mean? Whenever you activate your sexual glands, it also has to do with your digestion gland. The concept of opening and closing allows you to transmute the energy. What are the two parts that you need to open and close to cultivate the energy? Well, like I said, we're all adults here. So some people cultivate themselves by touching themselves. Now, I'm not here to talk about what you should do or not do. But you can build up your own sexual energy. And what you can do is you could breathe in and breathe out, tighten the anus sphincter. You could visualize the energy going up along the spine to your brain, and you could circle it back down. Now, there's a book that talks about it, Awakening the Tao Within, by Montauk Chia. And what that does is, here's what it does. And you can legit do whatever you need to do to cultivate your own energy, right? So we're going to get a little bit sexual, right? We're getting sexual. I feel weird talking about sex, but it's okay. All right. So let's say you rub the clit, right? So what is that doing? It's building up your sexual energy. And while you're doing that, you breathe in and out. You tighten your anus sphincter, and then when you breathe out, you feel the squeeze going up along the spine. Now, with much power comes much responsibility. So you have to learn how to do it. So it's not wise for me to say, oh, this is how you do it and go do it. No, please don't go do this. Learn about it first. But I'm saying you can do this. And this is not all the direction on how to do it. But I'm giving you an intro. Somebody says that's Kriya Yoga, right? You say you can add mantras, right? The shift is real 360, right? Knows about that. So guess what? I'm saying you could convert your sexual energy into Shin. So before doing a creative activity, you can cultivate your sexual energy. Some people call that masturbation, self-cultivation, call it. And using your breath and using the anus sphincter muscle, tightening and loosening, squeezing your butt muscles, and then releasing. So you build up the energy, right? So from some men, they use their hands to stroke up and down the penis. And for women, they use the fingers to rub against the clitoris or whatever. And what that does is it gets you aroused. When you feel that arousal, you can breathe in and breathe out and do that. And like Abina said, it's also good to eat a lot of red fruits and vegetables. Very true. Right? So transmuting your sexual energy has to do with food. So food and sex goes together. And when we don't have sex, we try to replace it with food. Another part of transmuting your sexual energy is to learn how to not make food the response to your lack of sex. I have to be honest with y'all. Not having sex for 4 years has been hard. I also noticed that it developed other things that cause the same energy transfer. So when you don't have sex, some of us, we resort to the self-cultivation, or we call masturbation. But with masturbation, what causes the arousal? Some people think to arouse themselves. So you think of a sexy person or whatever, and you get aroused. Some people watch pornography. Now, for me, the last 4 years, one of the things that I did do that did not serve me was watch pornography. Horrible stuff. Don't watch it. So I had to make a decision recently that I can't stay like that. I can't live like that. Because not just the sexual energies of physical, I don't want to take the traumas of these people doing porn. Because they're all somehow have a trauma. So this is deep. Whenever you watch porn, they have a trauma. So when you're watching them, you are consuming their, even if it's video, even if you're watching like some of the hardcore porn, and it's like the way that they're treating this woman, or the way that the woman is treating herself, or the way that the man is treating himself, is giving you a mentality. It's hardwiring your subconscious mind. And what that does to your subconscious mind is now, after you healed, you cultivate yourself and you start having sex again. Now you treat this person like they're a porn star, and that's toxic. So recently I made a decision, and this has been one of my battles, right? I said in 2021, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be real, right? So I talk about a lot of stuff others want to talk about. So I decided I stopped watching porn. First you got to admit it. Admit that you did it. The Lord, please forgive me for my sins. So I stopped watching porn because I didn't want to experience the pains of the people in porn. And I don't want to keep wasting my semen. Let's keep it real. So what I mean is, every time you ejaculate, if you do it every time you let the semen leave, you are not retending. There's no semen retention, and there's no sexual transmutation. So though I've been celibate for 4 years, I didn't do it right, because I still ejaculated way too much, and I still ate late at night. So I still had food as a replacement activity, and I still had masturbation with pornography as a replacement activity. Didn't serve me. So now we learn from our mistakes, and I want to empower you as you go in your own journey and you say, okay, I'm gonna be celibate for a little so I can celebrate my spirit. Remember this: when you do sexual cultivation, don't let all of that cultivation leave. Only once in a while, 2, 3 times a week, to let it go. But on most days, you built up the energy, and I don't know how I feel about visualizing it. I say visualize sex, but visualize it with your partner in the future. Visualize sex, visualize it with your partner in the future, but don't visualize porn sex. Visualize marriage sex. Visualize you converging, like you fly in the sky and your sexual energy is mixing with them, and you're creating pure energy. Somebody says the new moon is the best time. So when you visualize, because everything is heightened at the new moon. So when you experiencing that, it's more on a creation tip, and not on a type tip. So these are things I'm taking on for my life. I'm saying, I still haven't had sex, and I don't plan on having sex up until I meet that person that matches my energy. Then what we're gonna do is, we're not just having sex to have sex. We're having sex to express our love. Plus, we're having sex so that we can, after sex, we go back and we create some dope stuff. Like, we create dope writings. We create dope speeches, dope events. That we create amazing stuff that transforms people's lives. So, to give you a review of what I said, to summarize it all, I really went it out. I didn't even told you personal. I'm like, man, I watch porn. Man, 3 years ago, I'd never tell you that. But because I was single long enough, I found out who I am. I became comfortable in my skin. Now I can do this work. Now, I would be a blessing to any woman I meet, even though I'm not 6 feet tall. So some of you, you're missing out on a good guy because he's not 6 foot tall. But anyways, let me give you a review, and then we're going to end this. Here's the review. The review is this. First thing is, sex is not bad. It's a creation tool. It's how we replicate ourselves. And it's how we not only create people, it's how we create new things. It's how we bring forth ideas. It's how we create our experiences. Our hormones, out of our sexual nature, created by the food that we eat, the water that we drink, creates the hormones in our brains, like oxytocin, the love hormone, dopamine, the feel good, and all these other things. So what we eat and drink have to do with a hormonal balance. So I said, if we have to watch what we eat and drink, we also have to watch the bodies we consume. If we watch what we put in our mouths, okay, don't go there. If we watch what we put in our mouths, we gotta watch what we put in our mouths. So I'm saying, if we watch what we eat, we gotta watch who eat us. PG-13, rated R. Why would we wouldn't let certain foods come in? We can't let anything come in. So don't let any being bring their energy inside of you. Oh, let me bring my fear in you. Let me bring my high anxiety in you. If you don't like somebody's character, but you're still giving them your, you're still letting them in, then come on, think about it. Eat pineapple, right? Yeah, pineapple. Well, okay, Abina, pineapple. Abina is saying her safe word, really. Subconscious saying pineapple. Don't say. Okay. So that said, stop opening your legs, and you open up your third eye. And I'm not saying this from a shame standpoint. I love you. This is the only. I'm telling you. If I didn't love you, I would tell you go have sex. If I really didn't love you, I told you go have sex with me. But I my bad. I love you. TMI, TMI, TMI. What I'm saying is this. I'm saying stop opening your legs so you can open your third eye, because when you stop opening your legs, you house your hormones. You can converge the hormones up into shin energy. Like I said, you could squeeze the energy up and you could open up your third eye. You could use more of that for your focus, intention, and will. So you don't want to let anybody intrude. I said just by smiling or frowning at somebody, it affects their muscle. It gets them weaker or stronger. If somebody put their arm out and you smile at them and you push down their arm, they're gonna stay. But if you frown at them, you push down their arm, it's not gonna stay up. So I said this. I said if somebody smile or frown could push your arm down or keep it up outside of you, somebody's energies will affect you inside of you when they get in there. So if they're very anxious and you're having sex with them and you think you're winning, you're exchanging hopefully not 30 seconds, hopefully probably at least 3 minutes, you're accessing 30 seconds of pleasure for 30 days of anguish, or for a lifetime of feeling these energies if it's changing. Don't exchange 30 seconds of sexual pleasure for 30 days of anxiety. Because if you go with somebody who's fearful and anxious and you have sex with them for a week or so, leave and you're gonna feel a certain way. But likewise, if you build yourself enough and you cultivate your being and you heal and you have sex with somebody who's like that, that's about to be amazing. You're gonna have the best sex of your life, because you're not just gonna be having physical sex, you're gonna be having spiritual sex. That's gonna be beyond you. You're gonna be like, whoa, I am in heaven for real. Then after leaving, you're gonna be empowered. And in your relationship, it's like you can't wait to have sex with this person, because it's not even a give and take. It's like our souls are being fed. So that's the only reason why we have our singleness period, right? So that's why you want to align your energy. Here's another thing about it. Spend enough time working on you, and you're going to attract a lover that matches your energy. Now, remember I said it's not always them, it's you. And I'm not blaming you for having anxiety. Come on, this world is crazy. And we haven't learned how to maintain balance ourselves. I'm just saying, up until this point, your current level of consciousness brought you to a point where you are extremely stressed and anxious, or where you are actually subconsciously trying to defend yourself against people that use you and abuse you, and you became the user and abuser, and you are perpetuating the cycle. And this is not you as a spirit, you as a body. So now you are attracting users and abusers, because at some level you are doing it. So you got to say, oh, I've been perpetuating it too. So I need to stop doing it, heal. I need to release those things and then go back out. You get what I'm saying? And then here's what I said. I said, okay, so that's why you make a decision to say, I'm going to be that's why you make a decision to say, I'm going to reside in my own power long enough so now I can then transmute it. And then I said, okay, what happens if You say, I'm going to be celibate so I can celebrate my spirit, but then you still have the desire to have sex as it's part of your carnal being. How do you escape that? How do you transmute that? So I said this. I said, our normal reaction would be food, but I say don't do that, because then that's going to cause a hormonal imbalance, which most people then end up having gummy worms in their ovaries, and what is that called? Let me put that up. And that causes a hormonal balance, which then can affect your ability to have kids, or just be good. Your body gets out of whack, and that perpetuates a cycle of many things happening. Fibroids. Yes. So about having sex on and off, it causes fibroids. And by replacing the sex on and off with a food, it causes fibroids. So that's why you want to rebalance your energy by doing the breathing pattern, meditative pattern. That leads to sexual transmutation, which is cultivating your sexual energy so you could transmute it by the tightening and loosening of both the PC muscle and the anus sphincter and your breath. And what that does is it causes it to squeeze up your sexual energy, transmute it into Shin energy, which allows you to have more creative energy. So then you could take this creative energy and then apply it into more prosperity. And that's why I mentioned it. And I said, don't necessarily watch pornography to do that, because then you're also consuming that energy. So that's my message in a lump sum. I'm saying that you have the power to transform your life and your being as soon as you change the way that you're being. You don't stop having sex because it's bad. You stop having sex because you want to figure out how good life can be when you really figure out who you really are. Alrighty. So, hope that added some value to your life. Once again, go to edtalksdaily.com right now, subscribe to this podcast, and you'll be able to tap in to these episodes on audio format where you could just be on the go and the rising every day, and you'll be able to tap in. All right, so go to edtalksdaily.com. As you can see below, go to edtalksdaily.com. Subscribe to the podcast. And if you missed this episode, and if you watch a little bit of it, go back from the top, watch it from the beginning. Great episode today. You got this. Listen, sometimes you gotta isolate yourself, cultivate your energy before you put yourself back out there. Okay? And that will transform how you experience your life. You won't be missing anything. And let me tell you this. Somebody says, well, I don't want to be 60 and think about all the sex I could have had. Let me ask you something. The sex you had before, can you go back and have it again? No. You could only have new sex. So if you go 5 years without sex, you won't regret it. Trust me. Because at the end of the day, you can always have it. But just spend some time to cultivate your being, and you can transform your life in wondrous ways. I felt this in my spirit lately to talk about it, because a lot of people have sexual traumas. A lot of people are finding their worth in only sex. But when you stop having sex, you find your true worth. And that way, when you get back to the marketplace, when you get back to the state, you can say, okay, this is my worth, and this is what I'm accepting. You're going to find yourself attracting that type of person. There are some women I'm attracted to, not because they're just like they have the fattest booty, but no, because they have the most pure spirit and heart. But why? Because I have a pure spirit and heart. When I used to be attracted to the booty, I used to be a boy. But when I became a man, I put away all childish things. So now I'm attracted to the true beauty that lies within, and that's your spirit. And because of that, I'm going to attract a beautiful, come on, once you come into my life, I'm speaking her into my life right now. Now I'm ready to go on the market. I'm ready to get out here, find a wife I can build with, because my mentality is, it's not the amount of bodies I consume, it's the one body I converge because I became one. And I found the one, and now we became one together, and then we empower the world. That is my message, and that's my vision for my future, and I hope it added value to you. So subscribe, tap in. I'll see you next time. Stay in your power. Remember, you have the unlimited power in you to release the best version of you, to heal from your sexual traumas, to stop letting them use and abuse you by stop using and abusing your own body. Let your body rest so you can find who you are. Peace.